from LMS Tactical. You know, this is going to be a little bit of a hectic video and kind of jumbly, I'm sorry, because I can't remember the name of the guy I'm responding to. It's been a majorly wild week. I just am driving back from jury duty that was 10 million miles away from where I live. And, you know, of course they're not going to call me because of my law enforcement background, but I still had to sit through the process, you know, for a federal jury, you know, before they finally excused me. So, you know, I'm all about jury duty. I think it's an obligation, and it's, you know, I'd love to serve on one, but there's just no way I'm going to be able to be impartial. I mean, you know, if you were a defense attorney, would you want a guy that with my background or looks like me on your jury? No, you wouldn't. So, and I really sincerely apologize to whoever left me the and you know, I'll put it in the I'll put a freaking the name of him you know, on the video, annotizer, or the fuck it's called, I can't remember. I really have, my back's killing me, man. For those of you that don't know, you know, my illustrious police career came to an end because of some pretty major injuries, and so, you know, driving a long distance is not easy for a guy like me, man. I mean, I am in absolute fucking agony, and if I take pain meds, then I'm in liable if I crash the fucking truck. So yeah, I get cranky when I'm in agony, and I'm in agony right now. So to whoever you are, you'll see your name on the screen. I apologize. Let's get down to business. I don't even remember, because it's been such a busy week, exactly what you said, but you left me a multi-part response to my video, and you were, one of the things that I remember is that you were somewhat convinced that, for lack of a better way to put it, that some of the preppers were overreacting when it came to the idea of FEMA camps and the government, the military, you know, being used against its civilians. And you just, if I remember correctly, and I'll rewatch your video before I post this, and then I'll add notes accordingly. But I remember you did not think that it was likely at all that there were even such a thing as FEMA camps, that these were, you know, railroad yards and you know, that type of storage facilities. And well, again, you were pretty adamant that a lot of the worry was all for naught in terms of the military, that there was nothing in our history to indicate that would happen. And you mentioned Katrina, which you probably know that I was down there in a law enforcement capacity, almost said incapacity, in a law enforcement capacity on 2 separate tours. You know, so I got to rewatch your video, because I can right off the bat, I can tell you that was actually, in my opinion, a great example of what we can expect if there's an incident on a national level. Now, as far as martial law, and that's what you were talking about, martial law and, you know, FEMA camps and people getting hauled off, because I had mentioned that in one of my videos. I talked about, you know, getting marched down to the trucks or whatever. Look, here's my response. What a long intro. I have nothing planned. This is coming from the heart, so forgive the sloppiness. When you think of prepping, and when I say you, that's a generic term. I'm talking about you, me, and everybody that's watching this video. When we think of prepping, you cannot isolate your concerns or the object of your prepping to one particular scenario or another. And what I mean by that is, you don't really have to have the government turn on its people in order to end up in a situation where you have troops marching down the street confiscating weapons. Brings me right back to Katrina. I saw it with my own 2 little beady eyes. American citizens who had not broken the law had their weapons removed from their hands. Look, man, I was a cop at the time. I was a federal agent at the time, quite frankly. You know, we were deputized by the U.S. Marshals to do that. You know, so I'm not making this stuff up, man. I saw it. And it's one thing when you're behind the badge, but man, when you're seeing your fellow citizens that happen to, you know, that really makes a man go through his priorities and think about what's important and rethink, you know, what it is that cops are protecting and what it is that people expect out of their country in terms of military and law enforcement. And I don't want to get sidetracked, but you know what, brother? It doesn't have to be a Red Dawn scenario where the freaking Russians or the Chinese or whoever the hell comes parachuting into our town and we got to go into a prepping survival situation there, or you know, some sort of a coup. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It could be a natural disaster. I mean, if you haven't watched the YouTube videos, horrific videos of what happened in and what's happening in Japan after that tsunami, and here it has been already a year, hard to believe. Now, I don't know what they're dealing with in terms of you know, criminal activity. Probably nothing compared to what we're going to be dealing with should that happen here. And again, everything is based on an if. You know, are you guys sick of me saying, you know, you don't shop for a fire extinguisher when there's smoke? To not be prepared to be self-sufficient, should you and your family find yourself in that situation, is really being remiss. And I'm not speaking to you personally now, you being the person I'm responding to. I'm talking to people in general, because you raised great questions and concerns. And by all means, man, I'm really happy that you that you did that. And anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, you know, I'm responding to a video, so go back and read his comments to mine and his questions. This guy's not a jerk, man. This guy's asking legitimate questions, and he's raising legitimate issues and concerns. So, like anything in life, if you go too far in one direction, you're usually fucked. If you are absolutely lax and you're a comfortable sheep in your new car with your shiny iPod and you never worry about this shit, then you're going to have a great life right up until the time that you don't have a home anymore and your whole city's been destroyed by whatever means. If you are sitting around wearing Kevlar body armor and a ballistic freaking helmet, polishing bullets because you're completely obsessed with prepping, you're equally as fucked up. And I did a video on that it was called "Are You Obsessed with Shit Hit the Fan?" SHTF. That was the name of the video. So you gotta, you know, if you're a semi-reasonable person, you gotta understand the concept of being, you know, being in the middle of the road when it comes to that, in terms of, you know, how much effort you put into it, how much money. You know, if you're spending all of your family's money to prepare for the end of the world, and you're suffering, your lifestyle's suffering, and your happiness is suffering as a result of your obsession, in my opinion, you're not being a good household leader. You know, you're probably stressing out the kids and, you know, your wife, and, you know, there comes a point when, depending on how bad a scenario gets, you got to ask yourself, do you even really want to survive it? I mean, you know, if we got a radioactive field after an EMP and a solar flare and all the shit's going on that you can read about on the if it's completely desolate and the only way you're going to be able to survive is in a metal Connex box, you know, 20 feet under the ground for the next 15 years, might be better to just open the door, man, and walk out. Dance around naked until you fucking die. I don't know, man. These are choices you got to make. But, you know, trying to stay focused on your questions, which, God damn it, I just don't remember 100% of them. I apologize for that. Not to mention, you know, I'm driving and everything, so give me a break. There is a happy medium. I would absolutely recommend that people be very realistic in terms of what it is they know, what it is they don't know, and what it is they can know through research, and what it is that they're never going to know. You know, if there's a solar, or not a solar flare, what is it, like a plasma burst coming from, you know, outside the solar system, because it's traveling at the speed of light, we're not going to have any warning of that. So don't worry about that. You know, if you watch, I don't know if it's the History Channel or whatever, man. I was flipping through the channels every now and again, and I see them talking about new theories on what killed the dinosaurs and all the different things that have happened and could happen. Don't worry about those things. Just, holy fuck, this idiot. Sorry about my language, man. My back is absolutely killing me. It's counterproductive to worry about, you know, a freaking asteroid the size of Iowa hurtling toward the Earth right now, because what are you going to do about it? I'm going to give you an analogy, and then I think the video's probably been going on too long, and you guys are probably bored shitless and probably already left. Believe it or not, man, I'm going to bare my soul here. As a former paratrooper and a guy that loves to skydive, and I do love it, I have an absolute insane fear of heights. I know that's a contradiction. Only somebody that's jumped can understand, you know, why that doesn't matter when you're jumping out of an airplane. There's no edge, you know. It's the edge that we're afraid of when you're afraid of heights. Once you're out of the airplane, there's no fucking edge, so it doesn't even, you don't have that feeling. And there was a period of time as I got older, I became very terrified to fly, and there's a connection here to this whole thing. And it dawned on me 7, 8 years ago when I was flying. Man, and it seems so obvious, but sometimes you just got to have things resonate with you, yeah? Hit home. It just seems so obvious that if I flew from here to London, which is what I was doing at the time, and I worried about the plane engine stalling, or I was looking out the window and thought I saw screws vibrating loose on the wings like I used to do, all that weird shit. If I worried about it for a 10 or 11 hour flight and nothing happened negatively, I realized I just wasted 10 hours of my life. Man, I could have been sleeping for a couple hours, could have read a book, watched a movie. There's so much I could have done, instead of sitting there thinking that my puckered asshole was actually giving the airplane extra lift, afraid that if I relaxed, I probably ought to stop. You guys will have me committed, but you get the point. You know, if you're flying in an airplane and 9 hours into a 10-hour flight, the fucking engine stopped, that's when you worry. And you can worry all the way to impact. That's perfectly acceptable. I got it. What? People driving insane, man. As I sit here and make videos while I'm driving. So how does that tie into this whole thing I'm talking about? Look, if you're worried to the point of actual fear, and only you know that, you know, you got to be honest with yourself. And again, this is not to the guy that posted the question. This is just, he's got me making this video, that's all. You know, if you, in your heart of hearts, find that you're actually stressing out about it, man, realign your thoughts. When you go to the store and you see they're having a special on Spam, which, by the way, Spam is like quadruple in price, it seems like, lately. Due to the prepping, I'm sure. You know, it's all about the buck. Oh, hey, man, they're having a sale on Spam, so grab a couple cases, put it in your little area, and move on with your life. You should already have your plan of action. And summing up this whole thing, your plan of action should be all-encompassing with flexibility where it's needed. I mean, come on, I don't have to go through the whole details of it, but my point is whether or not there's a forest fire and you live in California and your entire neighborhood burns down, and you know, do you want to stay in a Red Cross provided or a little FEMA trailer like they had out there with in Or did you already have plans to hook up with your uncle, you know, further inland in Rancho Cucamonga, or further north in Washington or Oregon? You know, have that plan, and then it's easy for it to go into place instead of sitting around in torn clothing like some guy sitting in a bomb crater in Africa in the old UNICEF commercial. You don't want to be sitting there like that with a fly walking across your freaking eyeball, you know, and your stomach bloated. You want to have had a plan that you could put into operation, yeah? So, whether it's a forest fire, or there's an arrest in Florida that becomes racially heated, a couple of white cops are arresting a black guy and crack his head open, and then all hell breaks loose in Sanford, Florida, and then the guys in Compton see it and they get pissed off and they're like, yeah man, fuck the police, and then they start rioting, and you live over there in Torrance, you know, in close proximity, and then it spreads to a couple of other states, and now it looks like it's going to be a national thing. If that happens, that's when you hit your bug out location. Or if you don't have a bug out location, that's going to be my next video, by the way, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that, not having a bug out location. You know, then you activate. So it doesn't have to be, you know, United Nations soldiers coming down the street, or the military collecting your guns. Do I think that that's possible? Unfortunately and sadly, yes, I do. Do I think it's probable? No, I don't think it's probable. I don't think it's probable that that's going to happen. But I think that if enough of the right things happen, anything's possible. The FEMA camps, you know, I've never taken an official stand on it, and I'm not going to do it here. I've been talking too long. Love you, babe. Hey, give me some thoughts on this whole thing. Let me know what you're thinking. You know, how about some video responses so that we can see what you guys look like? You know, I don't want to put my face out there because the government will know who I am. They already know who the fuck you are, trust me. So, you know, come on. The whole goddamn country is one big surveillance camera. So don't be paranoid about that either, man. Just fucking live your life. Have fun. Don't be scared. I'm going to go take a fucking pain pill. I'll be in a better mood next time. Talk to you later. I'm out.